Life gets so busy, right? We're always running. But how often do we actually stop and ask, where am I going with all this? Well, for the next few minutes, we're going to hit pause. We're going to walk through a really simple but honestly powerful framework to help you do just that. We'll check in with your heart, your habits, and your hopes to start mapping out a path for real, intentional growth. And this whole thing really starts with this idea. Today is a mirror. Now, this is not about judging yourself or comparing your journey to anyone else's, not at all. It's just a chance to reflect. It's a moment to look honestly at what's shaped you, what's still affecting you right now, and this is the most important part, what you want to intentionally build from this moment on. So let's start there. The very first step in this framework is to turn that mirror inward. It's time to check in with your heart. The goal here is simple, but man, it isn't always easy. It's all about being radically honest about what is happening inside you. No filters, no pretending you're fine if you're not, just taking a quiet, honest look at your internal world. And what you find there can be a real mix, you know? It could be the weight of stress from a looming deadline, but also the lightness of joy from a recent win. You might be carrying grief, or maybe some guilt, or even a quiet sense of peace. The point here isn't to judge any of these feelings. It's just to acknowledge them. Seriously, just naming them is the first huge step to understanding them. So take a second and really ask yourself this. In this current season of your life, what is truly weighing you down? And on the flip side, what is lifting you up? Just being able to answer that honestly, that is a massive step toward real self-awareness. Okay, so once we've taken a look at what's happening inside, we can then see how that internal state shows up in our external actions. And that brings us to the second pillar. It's time to audit your habits. You can think of it like this. Our habits are pretty much the architecture of our daily lives. So the goal here is to get super clear on which of those habits are actually helping you grow and which ones are, well, just draining your energy. It's a simple audit of what you do day in and day out. Our days are really just a collection of these routines when you think about it. You know, your work routines, how you handle your emotions, the way you connect with your family. Even things like reflective practice or meditation, those are habits. And yeah, on the other side, we all have those draining behaviors too. These aren't just random things we do. They are the literal building blocks of our lives. And this leads us to a really crucial question. When you look at your daily life, which of your habits are actually building the person you want to become? Is there a gap between what you do every day and who you hope to be? That question leads us perfectly into our third and final pillar. We've looked inward at our heart and outward at our habits. Now it's time to look forward and establish our vision, your hopes. Hopes are not just wishful thinking. In this framework, talking about your hopes is about intentionally opening the door to vision, to purpose, and to a clear direction for your life. It's about consciously deciding where you want to go. And we can apply this vision to all the different parts of our lives. What do you hope for in your career? What about for your family? Or even for the kind of person you want to become? Getting specific like this is what turns a vague dream into something tangible, something you can actually work toward. So here's the bottom line. What future are you actually asking for? And what direction is that pulling you in? See, your hopes create this kind of magnetic pull, guiding your habits and shaping your heart. Knowing that direction changes everything. So how do we pull this all together? Your heart, your habits, and your hopes. This is the part where we stop just reflecting and we start actually creating a blueprint for genuine, intentional growth. This right here is a huge shift in perspective. The old myth says growth is all about external things, a certain job title, a bigger house, you name it. But the new reality is that it all starts on the inside. It's defined by your mindset, the decisions you make, and your own personal accountability. And that question at the bottom, it gets right to the heart of it. If you lost all your titles and money today, who would you be? That's the person we're talking about building. And I love this way of looking at our entire journey. It's not just a straight line. It's more like a series of seasons. From the spring of our foundation in childhood, to searching for our identity as we grow, to facing reality in adulthood, and finally thinking about our legacy. And here's the connection. In each of these seasons, our heart, our habits, and our hopes are all going to look different. What's on your heart in your identity season is probably very different from what will be on your heart in your legacy season. This table breaks it down so clearly. For each season of life, it shows us two potential paths.
There's the blind spot, which is kind of the default, reactive way of living. For example, in that identity stage, the default might be to base your whole identity on performance and to be terrified of failure. But then there's the desired growth. That's the design path. That's about intentionally building a healthier definition of yourself and learning how to reframe mistakes. It's really the difference between just drifting through life and actually designing it.
And let's be crystal clear, this is not a one-and-done checklist. True growth is not a straight line. It's a continuous cycle. It requires us to constantly and courageously examine all parts of ourselves, to check in with our heart, audit our habits, and refine our hopes over and over and over again. So after all this reflection, what matters most? It really comes down to this. The goal isn't to get overwhelmed and try to overhaul your entire life overnight. It's to commit to one single practical next step. Based on everything you just considered, your heart, your habits, your hopes, what is one small thing you can do today? That one small step, that's where real growth actually begins.